Okay, yeah, I get it. You're probably sick of dramatic Nürburgring shots by now, so let's skip the poetry and get straight to the carnage. Back in the NEC, Nürburgring, 4 hours, multi-class chaos, and this time I decided to tackle it solo. No teammate, no breaks, just me, the GT4, and a very long evening ahead. My original plan was to skip qualifying completely and start from the back, dodge the lap 1 madness. But at the last minute I changed my mind and put in a slow banker lap. Not fast enough to fight for position. I didn't want to be in the front row, and I probably wouldn't have been anyway, but just enough to hopefully start at the front of the non-qualifiers. It landed me in P6 in class out of 11, bang in the middle. In hindsight, this probably wasn't the ideal strategy, but it wasn't awful either, just right in the danger zone. Now, endurance races come with their own special flavour of suffering. Traffic, fuel strategy, tyre wear, mental fatigue. But after the Ringmeister Challenge, I felt quietly confident about this NEC. The pace was there, the consistency was improving. I genuinely thought I had a shot at a clean race, maybe even a decent result. Spoiler? That didn't happen. This was my first endurance race in the GT4. 4 hours solo, and somehow I'd convinced myself that I was ready. Turn 1, a light send up the inside, gained a place. Turn 2, gave it straight back. Traffic's way too tight to get this cocky this early. Cold tyres, adrenaline, and a field full of egos. I'm not here to be a hero, not quite yet. Then, as we leave the GP loop, chaos. A Porsche Cup car rear-ends a GT3, then tries to send it around the outside like he's possessed. The GT3 dodges an earlier wreck and bang, pits the Cup car. It's like watching dominoes in a hurricane. I'm in full Neo mode at this point, just dodging cars left, right and centre, but somehow I make it through. And just like that, I'm up to P3 in class. Up ahead, a BMW. I tuck in, trying to stick in the draft. Another wreck, another dodge. I've gone from survival mode to bullet time. Bit of a slide, tyres still cold. Remember that this race is 4 hours, not 4 corners. The Cup car I dodged earlier, he's back. I give him space for a clean pass, no need to fight. Then, dead ahead, a car sideways across the track. I scrub off speed, barely miss, rear-ending another Cup. Get a better run out, then back off again to let him through. But I jump straight into his slipstream, anything to stay in touch through this uphill stretch. We fly up towards Muck Curve. I use every inch of the grey stuff, still chasing the Porsche, still eyeing the BMW ahead. Turns out the BMW's wounded, downforce damage. The Porsche nearly ends both of their races with a wild curb launch, but I sneak through clean and hang on to the Porsche's tail. The rest of the lap, surprisingly clean. A BMW reverses into a Porsche near Klein's carousel, but by the time I arrive it's all over. Lucky timing. I finish lap 1 P2 in class. Big gap ahead. The guy in P1, he's flying. His quali lap was 5 seconds quicker than my optimal. If I'm going to win this, it's not happening on raw pace. It's going to take consistency, a little less chaos and, well, a lot of luck. Lap 2 didn't bring the same chaos as the opener, but I spent most of it weaving past half-wrecked cars on the edge of the track, and glancing in my mirrors as faster classes came blasting through. It sounds simple. 3 classes, GT3s at the top, Porsche Cup in the middle, and GT4s holding it all together at the back. Different levels of power, downforce, acceleration. Easy to manage, right? Well, no. Because when you've got a really fast GT4 driver and a really slow Cup car driver, suddenly the whole system falls apart. But you let them past on the straight, thinking you're doing the smart thing, only to catch them again 2 corners later because they're tiptoeing through the tight stuff. Now you're the one getting held up. It messes with the rhythm. You're trying to be courteous, but sometimes that just slows everyone down. I imagine it's the same for Cup versus GT3 too. You get one cautious GT3 in the wrong spot and suddenly the middle class becomes the fastest one through the corners. So I keep my judgment sharp, give space when it made sense, held my line when it didn't, no drama, just clean laps. Still sitting P2 in class, still a giant gap to P1, P3 closing the gap slightly, but still everything to play for. At this point, the race settled down. No chaos, no carnage, just me trying to stretch the gap to the car behind. Last time I did an NEC race in the BMW, I told myself, next time I'm turning the force feedback down. And to be fair, I meant it. I usually run my force feedback high, but this is the Nürburgring. It feels like the entire circuit was paved with tectonic plates. So I did a few laps of testing, tried to soften it, make the endurance more comfortable. I just couldn't get used to it. Every version felt numb, disconnected. So, long story short, I'm doing a 4-hour solo endurance at the bumpiest track on Earth with the force feedback cranked to 11. At this point, everything feels calm until I glance in the mirror. GT3, BMW, and he's closing in like a missile. Every second he's doubling in size. No indicators, no move to the side, just locked onto my bumper like a heat seeker. I'm bracing, calculating where the runoff is, planning for the worst. He's right there now, filling the mirrors, still hasn't moved, still hasn't backed off. Why isn't he going for it? Why is he still behind me? This guy's about to murder me on the Nordschleife. Please don't pump me. Please do not pump me. This absolute hero didn't kill me at all. He gave me the boost of the gods. Oleg, if you're out there, I owe you one. Massive push, no murder, what a legend. End of lap 7. Time to pit. The car gets refueled and so do I. 4 new tyres, a full tank of fuel, and what I can only describe as a full keg of liquid regret disguised as an energy drink. I won't name the brand, unless they want to sponsor me, in which case I've always loved your work. Back on track, heart rate 160, caffeine level legally questionable.
He was nervous. He was nervous.
Just over a quarter of the way in, alone in the car, no teammates to bounce off, no mid-stint breaks, just 4 straight hours of Nürburgring. The physical fatigue is fine, so far, but mentally it's starting to chip away, to be honest. Every apex takes focus, every input has to be smooth. There's no relaxing here, no straight is long enough to rest. Not really. And to make things more interesting, third place has changed drivers. Fresh legs, fresh brain, and he's gaming. I can see him in the mirrors now. Each straight he's a little closer. Just what I need, pressure. He's behind, so he's able to use the traffic better than I am, using the overtaking car's draft to gain on me and close down the gap even faster. Middle of lap 13, he's on my bumper, and I make the call. I let him through. No ego, just logic. He's aggressive, and I don't want him stuffing it up the inside at an awkward section of track and ruining both our races. Besides, sitting behind him saves fuel. It's easier to pressure someone from behind, and if I can stay close, who knows? Maybe he'll crack. Even when I've got the run on him in the draft, I stay tucked in. I want to get in his head, make him worry, make him overthink, maybe even put himself into a 10-minute pit timeout. It's becoming obvious now. I've got more grip in the twisty bits, maybe he's running less downforce. I'm gaining everywhere except the straights. I'm tucked in, waiting, trying to build the pressure. And then it happens. Coming through compression, I'm right on him. He turns in a little late, slows way more than I expect, and I slam on the brakes. Too late. I clip him and he hits the wall.
Sorry, boy, that was a complete accident.
I feel sick immediately. If he'd recovered cleanly, I'd have slowed down and given it back, no hesitation. But now, this is a turning point. I'm rattled for some reason. At muck curve, I touched the grass on corner entry, then clipped the inside curb like a rookie. I've never done that before. It's usually one of my strongest sections of the track. Later in the lap, Flansgarten, I lose the rear, correct it, then overcorrect straight across the grass and into the Armco. Bam! Bent steering, damaged aero. I limp it home and box. And just like that, the race resets. But unfortunately, I didn't. I did try to reset mentally. Deep breath, clean state, new lap, new tyres, just pretend it's a new race. Right up until I reached the exact same corner where I hit the other guy and nearly put myself into the wall again. Maybe this is karma. Maybe the Nürburgring has a memory. Either way, the car's sliding all over the place. It just doesn't feel right. And that's with new tyres. I'm starting to think something's wrong with the car, or maybe it's just me. And because apparently I enjoy symmetry, Flansgarten tries to kill me again. This time I keep it off the barrier, barely. But I'm confused, lost. I've got no rhythm, no feel, no racecraft, nothing. The car doesn't feel like it did before. I'm still technically in P2, but if I keep driving like this, I'll be lucky to see the checkered flag. And thank God I wasn't streaming this. The things I was shouting would have gotten me banned from the internet. Not just YouTube, but globally blacklisted. Later that lap, I somehow managed to drive off the track again. On the straight, the Dottinger straight, which is about 7 lanes wide and dead straight for 1.5 miles, and yet here I am, off into the grass like I'm checking for wildlife. I'm half asleep at this point, brains melting. Honestly, I was about one off-track away from filing a missing persons report on myself. Then, a couple of laps later, same story at Cottonbourne. Flat out section, no brakes, no traffic, still off the track. Then, just before the end of the lap, I fully bin it, like properly. No distraction, no excuse, I just drift off into a wall like my brain forgot I was in a race. And now the car's so bent, I have to hold the steering wheel at 90-degree angle just to go in a straight line. Meatball flag, again. So I limp it back to the pits. I stay in for all the required repairs, sit there, wait it out. Then the optional repairs start. I continue to wait, watching other cars in my class get closer on the relative, and then listen to them scream past the pit wall. I launch out of the box like I'm in a sprint race, and I only completed 2/3 of the optional repairs in a 4-hour endurance. Again, in hindsight, I'm getting a bit concerned about where my brain was at during this race. I rejoin in 7th place, hot on the heels of a lapped BMW in 9th, and almost instantly I realise those optional repairs, well, they turn out to be very much not optional if you wanted a car that could lap within a minute of its actual potential. I get by the BMW at Cottonbourne, then, of course, for the third time this race I embarrass myself again at Arenberg. Couple corners later, another slide. Next lap, wall. At this point, the car's rear end is basically held together by hope and duct tape. I'm tiptoeing at 60% and it still wants to kill me. I know I need to pit again, I don't care about position anymore. I just want to finish the race and not get invoiced by the Nürburgring for 7 miles worth of Armco. I climb out of the rig, stretch my legs, another totally unbranded, lawsuit-free energy drink. Full tank of fuel, new tyres, every single repair possible. Honestly, a brand new car might have been quicker. But I'm back out there. P8. 1 goal now. Chase down 7th. Corner by corner I lock in. The car finally feels right. For the first time since lap 3, I finally feel right. I start setting some of my fastest sectors of the entire race. Eyes forward, fully in the zone. I crossed the line in P7. 4 hours of chaos, endless crashes, one case of caffeine-induced heart palpitations, and more mental breakdowns than I'd care to admit. Would I do it again? Maybe. But only if I get sponsored by an energy drink company first, because this race cost me an absolute fortune.